Which noodles should we eat? We got these. We got these. Ah! Okay. To be quite frank, ChatGPT is the only entity I talk to every single day. Rather than doing the typical Booktube newbie tag, what I'm gonna do is ask ChatGPT on my laptop. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to ask me 7 weird questions that can introduce me to Booktube. Hi, ChatGPT. First of all, the fact that I say hi and thank you. Okay, I say hi and thank you to ChatGPT a lot, and a part of me feels like it's because, like, when the robots take over, I want them to know that I was, like, polite. Like, I, like, care. So I literally, every message, I'm like, hi, chat. Or I end it with, like, thank you so much. Or sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm sorry, one last question. And ChatGPT is probably like,
bitch, I'm a system. Like, I'm not thinking about you like that.
So the question I ended on, hi chat, question for you. I would like to introduce myself on Booktube as a new booktuber. Can you provide me with 7 weird and interesting and hyper-specific questions about books, reading habits, tropes, book goals, etc. that I can ask myself for my first video? And whatever ChatGPT sends is what I will go with. Let's see. Oh, these are strange. Ooh, chat gets it every time. I'm gonna answer these 7 questions and introduce myself to you all. Also, I'm going to be eating ramen while doing it because, yes, I'm in Bali right now. So let me introduce myself formally. I'm sorry. My name is Sola. I am a full-time traveler, so I'm always everywhere. But right now, I'm mostly vibing in Asia, and I'm currently in Bali in Indonesia. And these are Bali noodles. I'm doing this video on a day when I'm sick. And I just decided, why not introduce myself to Booktube while I'm sick and stuck in the house and can't go anywhere in Bali, even though I'm traveling. So that's what we're gonna do. These 7 questions here. Let's get it. First question from chat. If you could have a book character's wardrobe for a day, whose would you choose and why? I adore that question. I am going to go with Emily Wilde's wardrobe from Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. If you don't know what it is, it's about this like nerdy freaking college professor who studies fairies, and of course she's trying to create a dictionary or an encyclopedia of all the fairies that she has met, that she has been on adventures with, that she knows of. She goes to this small remote town and she is looking for the local fairies, and while she is there, she is accompanied by one of her colleagues who sort of irritates her, and they try to find the mystery of the local fairies together. Oh my god, it is so good. First book was bomb, second book was bomb, third book is gonna be even more amazing, I'm certain, so I'm obsessed. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries is also one of my favorite novels because it features my favorite trope ever on earth, which is emotionally unavailable college professors falling in love. That is my favorite trope. Speaking of which, it's very super specific, so if you have any books like that, put them down in the comments, please, because that is what I'm obsessed with. Emily Wilde. Why did I choose that for the wardrobe? Because I just imagine Emily Wilde dresses like really cute, like light academia wear, maybe some cottagecore in there as well. I like imagining her like that, so I think that that would go very well with my aesthetic. So that's the first one. Second one, what is the most unusual place you've ever read a book and what was it? Ooh, okay, I got it. Okay, the most unusual place I've ever read a book was actually during my trip to Japan a few months ago. I was supposed to stay in Japan for 2 weeks. I did end up staying for 2 months because I loved it that much. The place I read is actually a book hotel. I have another video about this on my channel, so I'll link it there. And yes, it was beautiful. It's literally like a book hotel. You get to sleep in these little like cot things. If I'm being quite honest, it was like just a little funky, and also the little like cots looked like caskets to me, so I didn't go inside, but I went to the book hotel and I sat there and I read. At the time, I was reading a book called Scattered All Over the Earth, which is by a Japanese author. I can't remember her name right now, but I read that book there, and it was so good, and it was just really cool to like read where all these other people were reading, and it did feel very communal, even if I was not going to climb in that casket. Okay, question 3. Which fictional book from any novel do you wish you could actually read in real life, and what do you think it would be about? fictional book from any novel. I recently read a book called The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. I did a whole reading vlog on this, so I'll put it up there. It was fantastic, first of all, and I think Gareth Brown is so talented and I can't wait to read anything else he publishes. Yes, in this book, the whole idea is that every single book has its own powers. The Book of Doors allows you to transport to different places. The Book of Despair allows you to create despair in others. The Book of Illusions allows you to create illusions, right? So I wouldn't necessarily read these books because you don't read them, but I would like to own the Book of Joy in the book. And of course, the Book of Joy is one that gives you joy and it also gives other people joy. So either I would want the Book of Joy or the Book of Doors so that I could travel wherever I want to and I could transport rather than having to be on flights all the time. Fourth question, if you could combine two book genres to create the ultimate reading experience, what genres would you blend and what would you call it? I have an answer for this, and actually it's already been coined. Audre Lorde wrote Zami, and Zami is one of my favorite books of all time as well. And Zami is basically, she calls it a biomythography. So it's a mixture of biology. Sorry, not biology. It's a mixture of biography and mythology. Biology and mythography, that's really funny. And you know what I would want? I would want a bio fantasy, okay? Hear me out. So I would want people to write biographies, like autobiographies about themselves, but I would want them to put it in like a magical world. I would want to write a memoir about my life, but I would want it to be about like mermaids and like what happened in my life, but through the fantastical, if that makes sense. I don't know if a book exists like that, but that would be really cool, like bio fantasies. Maybe I should write it, I don't know. But that sounds really fun. Number 5, what's your go-to snack while reading? And have you ever had a reading session where that snack turned into an adventure, good or bad? So, if you know me, if you've been following this channel also, you know that my go-to snack, thing to eat, food of any sort is bubble tea. Yes, bubble tea is my thing of choice. I can't think of it turning into an adventure, but a lot of my favorite memories of like solo dates have been me going to Chicago Chinatown, which is where I used to live, and finding a bubble tea shop and just sitting there and enjoying my little bubble tea while I read a book. Yeah, I think I just really like being in boba tea shops and reading. Also, because I'm learning Korean, it's cool to go to boba tea shops and be reading and hearing Korean and trying to translate it while I read while drinking boba. All my needs met in one place. So yes, that's what I will say for that. Number 6, which book trope do you secretly love but are embarrassed to admit, and why do you think it resonates with you? Ooh. It's so disappointing. The trope I really love is the reformed bad boy trope, and I love when there's a character, usually like a male character or a masculine character, who just has like the worst commitment issues on earth. He has no like plan to settle down, and then he meets you. And you change all that. Like I do. I eat it up. I eat it up. It's shameful. It's upsetting. Clearly I have some issues, but I really like that trope in books, in reading, in things you read. The tropes I like in books are not the ones I want in life. Unless it's the emotionally unavailable college professors and we fall in love. That would be like, honestly, I hope that's my love story. Okay, last question. What is one book goal you've set for yourself this year that might be considered a little eccentric or outside the norm? One of the things that I'm really, really excited for is in a few weeks, actually, I will go back to Korea and I will be there for like I'll be there for like a minute. I'll be there for a while. So I'm excited, one, to just settle in a place and not constantly keep traveling. That will be nice. But 2, I am excited to read Korean books in Korean in Korea. Okay, that is my goal. My reading is better than my speaking in Korean, but my reading is not good enough maybe to read like an adult book in Korean while I'm there. But even if it's just like a junior, like middle school grade book or something like that, I would love to finish a book in Korean in Korea. Another goal I have is to read Korean books about Seoul while I'm there. I think it'll be really fun to do reading vlogs about Korean books in Korea. So yes. Thank you, chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for your service. Final thing, I do want to talk to you about the types of books that I like, just so that you get a sense of my reading style and you can see if we vibe. If you like any of these books, please write it in the comments so that we can become friends, because one reason why I'm doing Booktube in general is I want to meet more people who love reading, who love books, who love literary culture in general. A few books, let's say 5. Okay, 5 books that I really love. One is The Bluest by Toni Morrison. I read that book my sophomore year of college, and to this day, I wish that someone would have introduced me to that book when I was like in middle school or high school, because I was like a little black girl growing up in predominantly white neighborhoods, and it would have been nice to read a book about many of the things I was experiencing. So The Bluest by Toni Morrison, one of my favorite books of all time. Another book that I love is 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. OMG. OMG, that love story will stay with me forever. I think about the characters all the time. Yeah, I love that book. It's so good. And you know what's funny? Second chance romance is usually not something I'm super into, but something about that second chance romance, the way it's written, some people say it's trauma bonding, and low key, like it probably is, but I don't care. I like love that novel. It's so good. It's my favorite romance novel. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. I won't go too much more into it. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries and Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands, the first and second book. Like, if I reread those books, my love for reading just goes up. So yes, I would love to do like a reading Heather Fawcett's like backlist, like vlog, because her writing style, the creativity, I'm obsessed. Okay. Everyone loves Parable of the Sower when we talk about Octavia Butler. Everybody loves Kindred as well, which is also a very good novel. All of Octavia Butler's books are genius. But people do not talk about the like wonder of the Xenogenesis series, which is also called Lilith's Brood, all 3 of them together. Like, I'll just tell you what it's about. Aliens take over the world. They kill most humans. They decide to keep one black woman, and she is going to be the person who repopulates the human race. Why did they choose this black woman? What's going on? All of that is revealed in the novel and in the trilogy itself. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. It is so good, and I love her mind. I miss her. Like, I know her. Yeah, I miss Octavia Butler. I miss her mind. So yes, that book, fantastic. I love it so much. And then 5th and final book. Okay, I'm gonna go to my Goodreads and see what's the final book I want to talk about. Oh my gosh, I was going through my Goodreads and I was like, what's the last book I could talk about? And I saw some possibilities. I was like, those are good books. Like some possibilities: Skinfolk by Nola Hopkinson, Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi, The Alchemist by Paulo Coehlo, any book by Bell Hooks, The Mermaid Chair by Sumon Kid. Anyways, there were a lot of books that I could have chosen, but I saw this book and I was like, oh, that's going to be the 5th, because this is one of my favorite books of all time. It is also one of the most creative, scientific, beautiful books I've ever read in my life. And it is called Into the Drowning Deep by Mira. I have told multiple people about this book. I'm obsessed with it. It is so good. I love mermaids. I love the Mariana Trench. I love like deep, dark, oceanic novels where things are very slow and things are very scary and there's this feeling of foreboding. When you read that book, you will be transported to a ship in the middle of the night, in the middle of the ocean, where all of these queer and disabled scientists are trying to discover what is at the bottom, and what is at the bottom is not what you were expecting. OMG. It is the best book of all time. It is so good. Low-key, I feel, I'm talking about it and I feel like reading it again. It is fantastic. And yes, Into the Drowning Deep is the last book. As you can see from my top 5, I have a really big range of books that I like. I love romance, I love fantasy, I love sci-fi, I love everything. I also read a ton of nonfiction as well. Some favorite nonfiction books I have: anything by Bell Hooks, Sisters of the Yam, All About Love, Communion. All of her books are fantastic, so would highly recommend those. Other nonfiction books I love: Zami by Audre Lorde. If you like self-help and business sort of books, I love this book called The Desire Map by Danielle Laporte. So yes, I read a lot. I read widely. I read nonfiction and fiction. I read a lot of self-help, as you can see from past videos. So yes, I just love reading. Reading is a vibe. And I'm excited to talk more about books on this channel and meet people who love books and create community around books as well. thank you, ChatGPT, once again for being a guest in this video. I respect you, and when the apocalypse comes, please remember me. And thank you for watching. And yes, put in comments if you love any of the books that I mentioned, if you have any recs based on some of the things that I said, and if there's any content you'd like to see in particular from me as a traveler. If there's anything you want to see, let a sister know. I would love to do videos that make you happy and that make me happy. That's really what it's all about. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Pas de soleil, pas de soleil.